He had lent his beloved motorcycle to a friend. Someone malicious poured white sugar into it. The white sugar and the residue inside the oil pan are still clearly visible. The owner immediately installed 3 security cameras in his garage. The biggest challenge is cleaning every oil passage, down to every last detail. BMW's connecting rods are truly impressive. Fracture split technology. Once they're split and reassembled, the joint is virtually invisible. Alright guys, we're heading out again. We just got a call from one of our subscribers. He said there's a BMW S1000RR that's been completely destroyed. The bike is currently at BMW Shanghai's dealership. As soon as we arrived, we saw parts scattered all over the floor. At first, we thought it had been in a major accident. But after speaking with the owner, we learned that someone had poured white sugar into this BMW S1000RR. These areas are all coated with sugar. Sugar here. Here too. Sugar. This looks extremely serious. Let's take it back to the shop and inspect it. Guys, this sweet bike has now arrived at our East China workshop. Over here is the engine, just picked up from the dealership, and over here is the frame assembly. We just finished checking the inventory of all the parts, and everything seems to be here. Now let's unload it, and get all the parts off the truck. Guys, we brought this BMW back from the BMW dealership. This sweetened S1000RR. When it arrived, it came with a pile of parts. We checked everything with the dealership, and nothing major was missing. So we brought all the parts back. The main problem is the engine. So what exactly happened to it? The bearings failed, causing the crankshaft to seize. Normally, the journals should have a smooth finish. But now you can see deep scoring, and all 4 connecting rods show signs of overheating. As for what caused this, the owner explained that he had lent his beloved motorcycle to a friend. While it was parked outside, someone malicious poured white sugar into the engine. The sugar residue is still clearly visible inside the oil pan. The bike sat like this for several months. Before the owner contacted MTC, he asked us to restore the bike, repair and replace the damaged parts, and while we're at it, perform maintenance and a few upgrades. As you can see, the crankshaft is severely damaged. The number 3 connecting rod is fused to the crankshaft. It won't even come off. All 4 connecting rods show signs of overheating. With an engine contaminated by sugar, the biggest challenge is cleaning every oil passage, including every tiny detail. Everything must be spotless. Why? Some of the sugar has been carbonized by the high heat. It has flowed into places we can't even see. That's why we need professional equipment to clean every component. If it isn't cleaned thoroughly right away, when the engine is reassembled, those contaminants could damage the new parts again. Alright. We'll first prepare a repair plan and order the parts. Then we'll discuss everything with the owner before deciding on the final repair process. After our inspection, the upper and lower crankcases, as well as the clutch assembly, were all found to be in good condition. The most severely damaged parts are the crankshaft, connecting rods, bearings, and rod bolts. As for the rest, we only need to order a new cylinder head gasket. Everything else looks fine. The remaining work is mainly inspection, including the cylinder head. We also checked the camshafts and found no obvious wear. That's a huge relief, because the variable valve timing camshafts are very expensive. After waiting for more than a month, the parts finally arrived. These are all brand new genuine BMW parts we ordered. This time, we're installing a brand new crankshaft, along with all the main and rod bearings. Since all 4 connecting rods suffered severe damage, we're replacing all 4 of them as well. We'll also install a brand new cylinder head gasket. For us, assembling the engine isn't actually the hardest part. Do you know what the biggest challenge really is? It's removing every trace of that sugar. Alright, from here on, follow along as we rebuild the engine of this BMW S1000RR. For an engine contaminated with sugar, why do we use multiple machines and clean it repeatedly? Because once white sugar is carbonized by heat, it forms hard, sticky carbon deposits that cling to oil passages, pistons, and camshaft clearances. A simple rinse can never remove them completely. That's why we use a complete professional cleaning setup, high-temperature ultrasonic cleaners, industrial parts washers, along with specialized cleaning chemicals in multiple stages. Each machine has its own purpose. Ultrasonic cleaning breaks apart deep deposits, while the parts washer flushes the tiny oil passages. Special solvents dissolve the hardened residue. Only by combining all these cleaning processes can we completely remove the carbonized residue hidden inside the engine. A single cleaning method simply can't meet restoration standards. Our inspection found that all of the exhaust valves had slight sealing leaks. During this complete engine rebuild, we'll also restore the valve sealing surfaces to eliminate the issue once and for all. Now we're going to measure the bearing clearance. Let's see what the reading is. This one measures 0.351. We'll record every measurement. I'm telling you, guys, BMW's connecting rods are seriously impressive. They use fracture split technology. Once the rod cap is split and then reassembled, you simply can't see the seam. This one measures 0.35. Number 1 is a little on the high side. Just slightly higher. 0.354. The standard connecting rod bearing clearance is 0.02 to 0.04 millimeters. If the clearance is too small, it can lead to serious problems. That's why we always verify everything in advance. All 4 rod bearings have now been measured. Next, we'll measure the 5 main bearings. Main bearings number 1 through number 5. Many riders wonder why we still use precision measuring tools to inspect everything repeatedly, even with brand new parts. That's because the factory service manual clearly specifies the acceptable clearance range for every individual component. Even brand new genuine OEM parts can have slight manufacturing tolerances. They won't always fit perfectly without verification. Only precise measurements can confirm that every component meets specification. This inspection step should never be skipped. Second tightening pass. Who says tightening bolts is easy? Second pass, another 90 degrees. Everything has to be just right. Do you know what longer gives you more leverage means? This job requires a long breaker bar. That little short one just won't do. Now we're measuring the main bearing clearance. The factory specification is 0.025 to 0.045 millimeters. If it's below 0.02 millimeters, thermal expansion could cause the crankshaft to seize. If the clearance is too large, it can cause knocking, oil pressure loss, and even bearing failure. We've now finished measuring both the main and rod bearings. All the measurements are within specification. Now we can confidently assemble the engine. See how clean that fracture split surface is? That's exactly how this textured surface should look. The second tightening stage is 105 degrees. An engine failure doesn't mean the engine is beyond repair. A proper repair can restore it completely. But many riders have a common misconception. The moment they hear engine overhaul, they assume it will never be as good as factory original. In reality, the service manual clearly states that as long as the engine is assembled correctly, it can be restored to normal operating condition. An engine rebuild itself isn't the scary part. What's truly dangerous is careless assembly based only on experience, without following proper specifications. Even worse is cutting corners by reusing parts that should have been replaced, just to reduce costs. Ultimately, every step of engine assembly must strictly follow the manufacturer's repair procedures and specifications. Every measurement, every bolt, and every torque angle must be executed with absolute precision. This is actually a great learning opportunity. Everyone should learn from it. Always keep learning. Let me tell you, out of this entire engine, the hardest part is the cleaning. Everything else isn't that difficult, as long as you follow the procedure step by step after cleaning. That's all there is to it. Just complete each required step. Tighten them one step at a time. 18 bolts in total, right? Absolutely, every single one. We've just finished tightening the outer bolts and the smaller fasteners. Applying the specified torque is a time-consuming, physically demanding job that requires a great deal of patience. As you can see in the video, we've calibrated the torque hundreds of times. Every tightening sequence follows the factory procedure exactly. First angle, 90 degrees. $90 degrees. The cylinder head is installed. Guys, we're about to torque down the cylinder head bolts. Can you guess how many tightening stages the factory specifies? There are 4 stages. First stage, 29 Nm. Then tighten by the specified angle. Let's continue. 4th stage, another 45 degrees. We've now completed all 4 tightening stages for the head bolts. A lot of people say, "I'll just remember the numbers and do it myself." Well, of course you can. But experience is only part of it. What's equally important is having the right tools. Good equipment makes the job much easier. You need to follow every step listed in the service manual, one step at a time. That's the proper way to assemble an engine. Second stage, 13 Nm. Guys, today's engine assembly work is basically finished. Tomorrow we'll start reassembling the entire motorcycle. The owner has also requested several upgrades. Now that the engine rebuild is complete, we'll also install upgraded brake components, new brake pads, braided brake lines, and several other performance upgrades. Tomorrow, we'll continue preparing this BMW S1000RR. To evaluate the condition of the engine's lubrication system, an oil pressure test is an essential diagnostic procedure. The test must be carried out strictly according to the prescribed procedure. Every measured value is compared with BMW's factory specifications. Once the engine has reached normal operating temperature, idle oil pressure should not be lower than 1.5 bar at a steady 3,000 revolutions per minute. Guys, this sweetened S1000RR has finally been fully reassembled. However, for an engine that has just undergone a major rebuild, with new internal components, we strongly recommend a proper break-in procedure. Instead of doing the initial break-in on public roads, we use our dynamometer for a controlled break-in process. We'll run it at 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, and finally 10,000 revolutions per minute, holding each stage for 1 to 2 minutes. Before starting the break-in, we first check the engine oil level, the coolant level, monitor engine temperature, watch the oxygen sensor data, and make sure the engine has adequate airflow. Guys, after more than 2 months of work, this sweet sugar BMW has finally been completely restored, along with several performance upgrades. You all saw what it looked like when it arrived. We went to the BMW dealership and brought all the parts back. After that, what was the biggest challenge? The biggest challenge was rebuilding and assembling the engine. Simply putting it together and assembling it correctly are two different things. Just the inspections and repair procedures alone filled an entire engine service record. That record contains all of the measurement data and every assembly procedure. Each step was documented clearly and in great detail. This time we installed a brand new crankshaft, brand new connecting rods, new main bearings, rod bearings, and a brand new cylinder head gasket. We also verified all of the engine's critical measurements. While inspecting the cylinder head, we found a slight valve sealing leak, so we repaired that as well. Carbon deposits on the pistons, carbon buildup in the cylinder head, all of those issues were taken care of. The owner also asked us to fully refurbish the motorcycle, including servicing the front and rear suspension. We also upgraded it with a set of HEL braided brake lines, finished in blue and red. We also installed a red GLSB VRE radial brake master cylinder. For this bike, we chose the 17mm radial master cylinder, instead of the 19mm version, because it's still running the factory brake calipers. We also serviced both the front and rear brake calipers. The front calipers received AP Racing STR brake pads, which significantly improved braking performance. For the tires, the owner chose a new set of Michelin tires, which we installed as well. As for the bodywork, the owner mentioned there was some damage, so we sent all of the panels out for professional repair and refinishing. The owner once asked me to install a locking oil filler cap. I told him that only keeps honest people honest. It won't stop someone determined. After hearing that, he immediately installed 3 security cameras in his garage. So that's it for this restoration and repair. After a few hundred kilometers of break-in, this 200 horsepower beast will be back in full form. Thanks, everyone. Your support means a lot to us. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more motorsport and motorcycle tech content.